Alright, welcome to Song of the Deep. I haven't played this game in a while. I actually started it when it first came out. A bunch of other games came out, didn't get to it, so we're getting into it today. Hopefully my game isn't lagging.
Merrin loved the sea. She loved the sound of the waves calling to her through her window. She dreamt every night of the mysteries that lay beneath. Her father was a fisherman. Each day he went out to sea, and each night Merrin waited at the rocky cliff edge, holding up a candle to guide him safely home. The two of them were poor. Their roof was leaky, and they sometimes went hungry. But as long as they had each other, Merrin knew they would be okay. At night, her father sang her songs about his great adventures. He sang of giant leviathan serpents, haunted caves, and a lost city of gold beneath the sea. Merrin knew the stories weren't real, but she loved to listen to them. She drifted off to sleep, imagining the wonders of the world below. And her life continued that way, simply and happily, until one night, her father didn't return. Merrin held up her candle at the cliff's edge all through the night, staring out at the empty sea. She shivered in the cold wind as she watched for him all the next day. Her eyes welled with tears as night fell again and there was still no sign of her father. At last, she collapsed into sleep. In her dreams, she saw him, trapped deep beneath the sea, calling to her for help. She awoke with a jolt. A desperate and dangerous plan was already forming in her head. She took scraps of metal and wood her father had caught in his nets and pieced them together. She hammered and bolted, she measured and sawed. And before the sun had set, she had built a tiny, rickety submarine. With trembling hands, she squeezed inside and dove down beneath the waves to search for her father.
Welcome to the deep.
The world beneath the waves shimmered with mystery. Glow-kelp bulbs lit up around her as she passed by. Merrin spotted some odd-looking old coins. Maybe her father would know where they were from.
The card pushes and pulls you, man. Gotta be careful. Guess we're going here without a choice.
Eerie light flickered and danced on the sea floor like a
safe spot?
water fire. Her father once told her about a mysterious, living energy called time. Could that have been a time wellspring?
It's up the audience with that one. I couldn't understand what that was.
made of clockwork gears, darted out of the way as Merrin approached. She wondered who could have built such a curious creature.
Interesting. So we're following the seahorse, we're going up to the gold. Let's get the gold. Sorry that you guys can hear my button pushes and stick clicks, so I haven't figured out how to get past that. But at least you can hear everything. One second. Magnetic claw. Versatile magnetic claw.
Merrin approached a glowing scrap of metal and pulled it inside. It was claw-shaped and had a strong magnetic pull. She took out her tools and attached it to a firing mechanism on her steering column.
Okay, no, guess not. Interesting.
Merrin spotted shock nettles ahead of her. She had to be cautious, as the hostile creatures would attack her on sight.
I'm getting used to. They move so much faster than you do.
A sleeping guardian blocked Merrin's path. She knew it all too well from her father's stories, and she knew it must never be woken.
Okay. Don't do that. Simple enough.
According to her father, the Guardians had been built by ancient undersea explorers called the Fomori. Merrin always thought the Fomori were a myth. Now she wondered if her father's other stories might be true. The old statue reminded her of her father's lullabies about the brave and beautiful Merrows.
It's a merman. I wonder what's gonna happen now. See, what they need to make is another Echo the Dolphin. That would be awesome. I'm not gonna take that up because I was gonna take the head, but I guess that's what you need. Should never guess your instincts. Oh god, okay. down thing. It's just a head. Calm down. Calm down. It's not worth it. It's not worth killing you. Come on. What the hell, man? Come on. Controls are frustrating sometimes.
As Merrin explored, she sketched the terrain on a sheet of cartography paper. Her father had taught her that those who make maps are never lost. A huge hermit crab watched Merrin from a rocky ledge. On his back, he carried a vast array of odd-looking treasures.
Look at that.
The crab seemed to like shiny objects. Maybe he would be willing to make a trade.
Oh, he likes shiny objects, huh? Because he's so shiny. Yeah, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. Back the fuck up. Try not to cuss. Come here. Stop on your way. Forward. No.
Giant clams were notoriously picky eaters. Each one seemed to prefer a different kind of treat.
Come on. Oh no. Now I have to go back to get that head. Take that. Eat it, Clem. What are you gonna give me? You didn't give me anything, Clem. What the fuck? Eat it. No, you don't eat that one? Okay. So it's what, is it your brother up there? At least I gotta get the head. That's annoying. Oh god, no. Oh, I fucked up twice. Apparently that's gonna be the word I can't help myself from saying. Okay, now I'm being impatient. Oh my god, why is it pulling back home up there? Because I'm holding this freaking claim thing. Damn it. Aw, that's balls. You gotta be freaking kidding me. You know what? I don't hope that it just respawns. I guess it doesn't. Oh, of course. I was just talking about that.
Amidst the wreckage of an old Fomori vessel lay an undamaged propulsion device. Merrin bolted it onto the back of her submarine, eager to test out its effects on her lightweight craft.
not having that up. Good idea.
Using the materials she bought from the hermit crab, Merrin took out her tools and made a quick modification to her magnetic claw.
Down here. The mirror.
Merrin looked in awe all around her. She knew this place from her father's songs. These were the lost ruins of the Merrows.
Another one of these things.
Lantern jellies blocked Merrin's path. Although the creatures could be deadly to the touch, they were very shy and even avoided each other's light.
Something's operating down here.
Merrin peered through the windows of the houses, wondering if a Merrow girl once lived there, and if her father had sung her lullabies about the world above.
Come on, come on.
Merrin discovered two glowing lights amidst the scraps of an old Fomori machine. She attached them to the front of the submarine's hull, hoping they would help guide her on her journey. A blur of colour darted through the shadows. Was that a Merrow maiden swimming through the ruins? Merrin tried to speak to her, but the Merrow raced away. The razor-quilled pufferfish was not a direct threat, but it steadfastly refused to move out of the way. A glowing swirl in the water tugged at Merrin's sob. Was this a time vortex? Where might it lead?
Oh, should I go in? Let's go. It's a work.
At last, the Merrow Maiden stopped. Merrin called to her. "Please wait. I'm only trying to find my father." The Merrow looked at her for a long moment, then stirred the water with her hands, forming a ghostly image. It was the sunken ship graveyard known as Skeleton Reef. Could her father be trapped there? The Merrow pointed the way to go, and Merrin thanked her. Before she turned to go, Merrin asked the Merrow her name. "Call me Cara," she said. "Another girl once called me that, years ago. She said it means friend." seahorse was poking at a glass wall. Such a strange creature, Merrin thought. She wished she could understand what it wanted.
I'll see us together. Man, this game's interesting. I wonder if you guys can hear me a little better. I can always do this too. It reduces the game audio, but you hear all my clicks when I'm adjusting stuff. Try it that way. Okay, so where are we going? Damn, game? Okay. All these faces are creeping me out, not gonna lie. The game looks a lot darker on the stream than it does to me. It's kind of cool. It's like you guys got the real color. Let me see something. Oof. There you go. Now I got the
lost graveyard of ships, Merrin would have to cross the foul and treacherous region known as Watcher's Hollow. This was a place her father had never sung about, for the tales of the Watcher were known only to those below.
Ooh, don't touch those. Holy shit. What the heck is that? Get the heck away from me. Don't touch me. They gotta be creepy jellyfish. Whatever the heck they are. Okay.
Glowing cuttle pups swam through the dark caverns, heedless of their deadly surroundings. Maybe they were tougher than they looked. Even the stinging anemones seemed to avoid them. The howls of hungry leviathans echoed in the distance. This seemingly bottomless trench was known as the Maw. Hard-headed Nautilosaurus watched Merrin from a distance, waiting for an opportunity to strike.
Okay.
As if recovering from a bad dream. For a moment, she thought she had experienced her own death. But it had merely been the time showing her one of the many possible roads ahead.
Ow, my ear.
Merrin sailed out into a great, open expanse of water. The howls of hungry leviathans echoed in the distance. This seemingly bottomless trench was known as the Maw. Hard-headed Nautilosaurus watched Merrin from a distance, waiting for an opportunity to strike. out across miles and miles of sunken ships. She had entered Skeleton Reef. How many ships lay here? Hundreds, maybe thousands. The very thought gave her chills, but she knew that somewhere amidst the broken wrecks she would find her father's boat.